Hello, good evening, welcome to Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny, and as always it says it right down there at the bottom of the screen. I've done another thing in the studio while it's getting so hot, and I've put a big bottle of ice in front of my feet with a fan blowing directly over me. If you can hear that fan and it's becoming distracting, let me know, because I can turn it down, I can move it, turn it off, I can switch microphones, I can do all of these things, but it's the only way that I can keep myself sane and not melting in this incredibly hot heat wave in my very, very hot studio. Anyway, welcome to the show. If you are new here at Easy 8, it is not a tutorial show or anything like that at all. There's loads of that already out there. This is literally a painting club, somewhere where you can come along, make some friends or chat to some friends that you've already made, all the while painting some miniatures. Or painting anything, or doing anything. You can just have it on, chilling out if you want to. That's also fine. I'm going to be painting some miniatures this evening. Well, just one miniature, actually, today. For the next 2 hours. Kes says there's an echo. Hi, echo? Is there an echo? Hopefully there's no echo. But hopefully it's all working fine. Out of this world, Models and Minis. Hi all, on vacation this week, so I'm able to pop in for a little bit. Hi John, thanks for coming along, and congratulations on your 500 subscribers. Anyway, as I was saying, yes, you could just kind of come along and paint some miniatures with me. I will be here for the next 2 hours painting my miniature, which I was supposed to have done for the last time last week, but I think I'm actually going to finish it on tonight's show. I'm not going to count the base in that, because the base takes a little bit extra longer, so hopefully it should work out just fine. In case you're asking, is it just me with the echo? Nothing has changed technically on my end, although I could be producing echo. Do let me know if it is affecting your listening experience. I don't know what I might be able to do about it right now, but it could just be that there's a fan on. Maybe. No echo here. Brilliant. Whew, there, for a minute there, I thought it was me. It must be you. Sorry. Anyway, cheers. It's just water today because it's so warm. But happy Friday, everybody. I hope you're having a great week so far. It is the weekend after all. Or at least the gateway into it. Yes, I'm not really going to just hang around all that long here talking about stuff because I just kind of want to crack on. Last week, or during the week, I had a little bit of time to come and do some stuff on this miniature, which is why I think that I'm prepared to get into it and, you know, hopefully finish the actual model itself, bar the base. And I've started doing little short videos, it was actually quite a long video, but just streaming on Facebook through my phone, just for the fun of it. So, aside from the painting club, just doing a little thing up there for you Facebook viewers. There's no music, it was all kind of just on my phone. I was just kind of talking away, got a few viewers, and hopefully that kind of just, you know, it's a little bit of company through the week as and when you might be painting as well. Facebook is also on, Facebook. Easy 8 is also on Twitter now. Facebook could be on Twitter, I don't know. So yeah, I was just reading through my listing here. It says Easy 8 is now Twitter. We haven't bought Twitter. Twitter hasn't bought us. We are not one and the same thing. Just a typo. I was very tired when I wrote that. Easy 8 is now on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, you can follow us. There's a link just down there where you can follow us on Twitter if you want to. I'm not going to be active on that all the time, but sometimes I might have an idea and I want to share something. I might even share like weekly listings for the painting club. But I just thought it was a nice way of keeping up with some people on the internet. And it doesn't require an awful lot of input from me. And if no one really follows it that much, or if I'm not really active on it, then I can always cancel it. But hey, Twitter. Anyway, if you like what we do here at Easy 8, could be on this platform, could be on Twitter, could be wherever you like. You can find us on Twitter, on Discord at the Easy 8 After Party after the show. You can also find us on Instagram and on Facebook. And if you like what we do, please do consider subscribing, because every little bit that you do helps this channel grow, and I'm all for this channel growing. It is getting bigger, and that is wonderful. Also, please hit the thumbs up button down there if you haven't already. If you're a subscriber and you haven't hit that thumbs up button, do it every week for every video. The more thumbs that we get, the more it shares it with everybody else. And of course, that's what we want to do. We want to share all of these videos and this experience with everyone who's interested. People can come along, they can decide whether it's for them or not, and then if they like to, you should subscribe. I've got the hiccups again every single time. It's because I eat before I come onto the show. Anyway, yeah, subscribe, thumbs up, and all that stuff. Thanks very much. If you are working on something this evening, do let me know. I'm genuinely actually interested. You can put up a photo of it if you want to on Discord and on Facebook if you like to. Just pop a little picture up on any of the channels on Discord on this week's listing as a comment for Facebook users. There we go. I think we've covered everything. To the workbench. Like I say, I'm actually genuinely interested in what people are working on. John, I know that you've actually just made a new video over at Out of This World Models and Minis. If you haven't been over and seen any of John's stuff for a little while, head on over there now, because he has been doing some really cool Plague Marines with some wicked basing, which I'm actually very envious of. I've done acid pool stuff before. Those are great. Do more of them. I like it. Anyway, here's my little Martian robot that I've been painting up for what feels like a million years now, and I've got a big stone on it. Outside the front of my house, one of my neighbours has a little like stone garden, and I stole it. Sorry, Adrian. Not the whole garden, obviously. That would be a lot of stones and a ridiculous amount of stuff that I don't need. But yes, I wanted to make it like as a stony base later on. So what am I going to be doing on here today? So I want to be doing some brass pipes. There are some pipes and things on the gun itself. There are some pipes in and around the engine unit thing here, the reactor if you want to call it that. And I think that's about it really. That are going to be brass. I'm going to do them gold, maybe making them look brassy brass. Brassy brass, I haven't said that for a while. I'm also going to be doing the cogs and skulls. So we've got two icons, one here and one here, little cogs and skulls. So they should be quite easy to paint, probably one of the more time-consuming things to do. So hopefully I should be able to get that done today. Anyway, the flamethrower itself needs to be done, and some soot effects, which I was thinking about doing on the end of the flamethrower once I've got there. So that's it. That's all I've got to do. So I'm hoping I can get this done today. I promise you this is the last week where I'm painting this model. Next week we're going to be moving on to an entire armoured battalion of 15mm tanks, where I just kind of want to get them all stained and looking really cool. But more on that next week. There's also got a couple of details on the front of it here, which I just kind of want to add a little bit of silver to, just to brighten them up. Hopefully, on my now displaying 1080p resolution, you should be able to see that the weathering on his arms is quite bright steel compared to like the elbow thing on the inside in there, if that makes sense. That is because there are bits on the inside of the arm were kind of washed with a filter, and then these bits were just kind of just raw silver, and it makes it look a bit more shiny, a bit more burnished. So what I'll do is I'll just add a little bit of fresh silver to these two plug things, and this little eagle symbol, and what looks like a little speaker here, or as they call it in the 40k universe, a vox, just to make them stand out a little bit more, because they're a little bit dead, a bit flat. So yeah, here we go. John says, thanks, they are really fun to paint up. They look really, really cool. Nice work. So some gold colours. I am going to start with some glorious gold. Who we've got in the live chat today? We've got Jeff. Hi Jeff. We got Kes. Hi Kes. So we got John. Just the three of you today. Thanks for coming along to the show. It's really hot, isn't it, lately? It's just, I say it every week at the moment. I think it's just because we're British, but it is really hot. It's starting to cool down in the evening. We have got a little bit of rain coming in, which is just going to cool everything off, which will be lovely, but yeah, work is difficult at the moment. Hopefully you can't hear the fan. Can you hear the fan? Is that something that you're listening to right now? I've got a filter on, so it shouldn't, if I'm just be quiet, I know there's nothing coming through there, but can you hear it when I'm talking? Here we go, just a little bit of gold. I'm going to add just a touch of water to that, just to help that paint be blendy and smooth. Creamy gold colours. And here we go. Those pipes in here in the engine. Now they're probably going to need a second coat, but that is fine. Saying that though, that went on pretty well. And opaque. There's a couple of hoses in there. I've just realised they're not pipes, they're actually hoses. Have a little look on the back of this one here. And I've just left them. They're dark enough, they'll be okay. Maybe I'll put a little wash on them. So, I don't know if you can see, but you've got these two pipes here. Can you see in between them, kind of coming up from the circle? That one there, that's a pipe. The one in the middle and one over here are hoses. And I've done my hoses like a dark grey black. I've only just realised that the hoses, and if you know me, you know that I like to get everything consistent and with continuity. But I might just kind of stick a black wash on them and that'll be enough to kind of bleed them away into obscurity. Good start already, nice and quick, wonderful. Now last week at the end of the show, towards the end of the show, my microphone just kind of packed up for a little bit. I think it was a combination of several things. I think it was getting very hot in the studio, so my computer probably wasn't handling things very well. But I also think I had too many powerful things going into one power bank, and my compressor, I think, just made the microphone glitch out. And it stopped working, so I switched over to my headset mic. Hopefully that doesn't happen today. I've switched out the compressor to a wall plug, where it always used to be. It's only because I was doing some maintenance on a little while ago that I plugged it into that power bank. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I did notice as I was setting things up today, doing a little, just a little test, a little screen test, that there were some glitches visually, and I'm almost certain that that is just because of the heat. I apologise for any sort of glitches, malfunctions, etc. If it is due to the heat, there's very little I can do about it. I have fans aplenty in this room. I do actually have like a little laptop stand with fans built into it, with very silent fans, actually, very powerful silent fans, which I could position and direct it against my PC. That might help a little bit, but that's pretty much it. I might get like a little desktop air conditioner and just have that somewhere nearby, helping to cool the room down. I didn't realise that they were a thing. I thought air conditioners were like large things that were kind of like built into your wall or whatever. Just goes to show how uneducated in that area I am. There's actually someone at work said that they've got one in their room, because it's a residential area that a centre that I work on. We actually have staff that live there as well as guests, and this lady that works with us said that she's got an air conditioning unit, little portable one, in her room. I was like, oh, that's a thing, I might get one of those. I want to make sure that it's got the guts to do what I want it to do before I spend what looks like at least 50 quid on it, but it might be the next best purchase. Talking of next best purchases, I will show you my last purchase that just came today. So once I get these little pipes done, I will show you very quickly. I can see there are more comments going in, but allow me just to get this gold on here. Might not need to do a second coat, and that of course is just saving time. Cool. One more pipe. Just here on this engine. Got some rogue bristles. Let's just get those out of the way. Thank you. See, Kez has sorted out your sound issue. What was the problem? Did you have like speakers and microphones and everything all going at the same time? Of course, if I recorded all my videos, none of this would happen. But I like the live performance. Having grown up in the theatre, darling, that's how we've always done it. It adds an air of edginess and authenticity. That's what I'm saying. I'm sticking with it. And I did grow up in the theatre. That was an actual thing. Cool, that looks nice. Can I get that little one at the back in there? Have I done that with this? I have. Just always checking his other brother, just to make sure that I'm being consistent with all the things I do. If I did something wrong on this compared to the other one, I would never forgive myself for it. But I'm going to need to get a little micro brush for this one. Where is it? Here he is. Make sure that I've got all of that pipe. There. Some sort of nuclear reactor of some sort, perhaps. Who knows what they use. Maybe it's written in the book. An engine. So Jeff says very hot in the workshop today, so just finished off some smaller pieces. Done a graveyard, a wee Scottish sheep pen. Nearly said that in a Scottish accent. A wee Scottish sheep pen. That was an awful Scottish accent. Gave it a go though, and made the Gothic windows for another French church. Exciting stuff. Yeah, seen your Scottish sheep pen. It looks really cool. If you're interested in having a look at that, go on to Facebook and check out Purple Lion Creations. That's my dad's business, and he makes bespoke items for your table, to your tabletop games, be it scenery or just kind of landscapes, anything you want, all bespoke and tailor-made to your requirements. And that is a really cool little sheep pen. I really like it. God, it's warm. So I've got a big ice bottle in front of the fan, in front of my legs, and I'm a shorts guy all the time. So I thought that an ice bottle might blow cold air onto you. It's a myth, it doesn't work, unless my fan hasn't got the guts for it. But I've definitely got ice in a bottle. It doesn't help, doesn't make any difference. Okay, cool, so more gold I think. So what I want to do here is this little pipe thing effort on the top. That obviously feeds whatever propellant, fuel and things in this little tank into the gun. It also has a little feeder pipe here and here, and I'm going to do those gold. I might do the end of this little thing gold as well, and I'll probably do something here gold, just because I should imagine there's a big pipe that runs through there. And I like some pipes to be gold. Kesson says it opens 2 windows and had not realised. Ah, okay. I get the extra views for it. Staff, hi staff. Hey all, sorry not joining in tonight. On Kids Club running around. Have a good show, Danny. See you next week. All right. Well, thanks very much for stopping in. That's very kind of you. Take care for now. Hit the thumbs up button, would you? That'd be great. Thank you very much. Right. Let's get my other brush. Get some gold. Here we go. So. And if I don't like gold being on here, I could do it black to match like some of the other hoses and things that I've got. But the body, the receiver if you like, so this whole unit here at the back, this is going to be black and it might be too much. So I'll give this a go in gold and see what it looks like. Might have to do a second coat on this area here. for whatever reason, it's gone on with a slight translucency to it. The reason I like doing a lot of, well, not a lot of gold, but gold things on my Imperial 40k stuff is because years and years ago I read a novel which was a novelization of a video game that came out on the PlayStation 2 called Fire Warrior. It was the only game that we had back then. It's actually kind of terrible. I enjoyed it at the time. And someone, Simon Spurrier, I believe, who was a 2000 AD author, wrote the story and turned what effectively happens in the game into a little story. It kind of gives you reasons as to why some tiny little Tau Fire Warrior ends up basically owning the entire universe. And it was kind of fun. There was a description in that book of when he picks up a melter gun, which is basically a fusion gun, which just has a high heat ray if you like, that just melts everything, and it describes all the things in the controller that just start melting. And the guy was ambushed at his little terminal. And it doesn't tell you until after the scene what actually happened. It was the Tau Fire Warrior with this fusion gun that was kind of melting everything, but it was just a guy minding his own business, pushing buttons and turning dials and whatever, and then everything ignited and started melting. But it was a description of the brass handrails and all the inlays and whatever that were melting in around him within the briefest of seconds before he died. And it just kind of stuck with me ever since. I was like, well, yeah, the Imperium is an Imperial world. Everything is supposed to be antique. It's all supposed to be like Gothic wooden dashboards and paneling and golden inlays. And yeah, I suppose those bells rang ever since. So I like to distinguish between pipes, tubes, and beams and bars and whatnot. So I just like to add in gold in some places. I try to not go over the top with it because it can look a bit much, and I'm not a massive fan of metallic colours. But gold does stand out quite nice in a myriad of silver. I say I don't like metallic colours very much, while non-metallic or non-metal metallics as a painting style looks incredible and the effects are great, I don't think they look realistic, so I choose to not spend my time learning how to do that. Although one day I might do it just to try and learn a new technique, but it's not an effect that I'm after, if that makes sense. A little bit tricky just trying to get in from this side here on this guy's big domed head. Make sure that I'm not getting any gold anywhere. I've just got a tiny bit on the edge of this big, I don't know, muffler? Heatsink, whatever it might be. Cagey bit. But I'm going to give that a little bit of silver highlight, so it will hide that tiny little mistake that I've made. It literally is on the corner, but it does stand out. Okie dokie. Doing well with all this gold so far. This is going pretty well. There's a little bit in here that I want to do. Now that might just be like a little pin that holds that bar in place, but I thought it looks kind of cool if there's multiple feed pipes all going into it. So yeah, I'm doing several things. If it doesn't look right at the end, then I can just paint it silver. I'm going to do the little pointy bit that sticks out here. I might do that circular bit. Does that make sense? The little disc that that cone sits on. It might be too much gold. So, do less, you can always add more. Taking it away is always harder. Okay. A quick second coat on this piece, and I think that's looking pretty good. If I had any more gold on here, I think it would look rubbish. So that's enough, I think. Make sure that I've covered this gold well. See a little bit of the orangey undercoat in there, just kind of sticking through. Nice. What does everybody think? Does that look good? Does that look okay? I think it looks alright. It's a nice little bit of detail, isn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to turn this whole thing up here black. That's the next thing to do. Dokie. Now, what parts on here are still silver, so we can see the bits that I need to keep the same. For continuity, anyway. So here, we can see that this sort of cradle that holds the gun, that's still silvery. And I've got that on here, so that's going to stay silver. So, all of this box here is basically going to be black. I can do that. Oops. Got some black paint right here. Looks good, says Kez. Thanks, mate. Just going to stick this on the Easy 8 pattern pending Wazmatic. John popped up a photo earlier on Easy 8's Facebook page. The picture of his Vortex mixer. He's written Waz on it. Good man. I'm going to do the same, even though you can't really see mine. And it's also not pattern pended either, it's a complete line. It's just a nail varnish mixer. Anyway, there we go. I feel very rosy in the cheeks today. All in my face, feels so flushed. Waz. I'd love to be able to like sell my own line of Vortex mixers with Waz on the body. I think that'd be great. Okie dokie. So black. Now this is going over silver, which is showing through. So I probably will need to do a second coat. Now, it looks like on the top of the gun, there's that whole strip where the ammunition is feeding into it, that's all silver still. So what I'll do, just for a little bit of effect, got some little panels and stuff on the top, I will keep those silver. Just to make it look, you know, like it's been designed by the same person or made at the same factory or whatever. Continuity. It means a lot to me, so don't mock me about it. Please. So John, I'm particularly impressed with your channel at the moment, having just reached and maybe gone over 500 subscribers. This is a big deal for John because YouTube has just changed its user license agreement thing in terms of subscribers. So you don't have to have 1,000 subscribers now to have your channel as or to become a YouTube partner, which basically means that you can earn money from its videos. It's now 500, so well done, John. That's a really big deal, and it means that you can start, you know, generating a little bit of extra
cash flow to help support your channel, or just to buy you a cup of coffee. And yeah, it's great. I'm really happy for you. Well done. Because it's hard work, what we do with our channels, and it's nice to have that little bit of reward for it. I can see that you said that you want to make some stickers, make some WoW stickers. Do you know what? I will do that. A little bit of water in that with that black there, I think. Struggling just to get it to flow a little bit smoother. There we go, that looks good. Oops. A little bit of overpaint in there, so damp brush. There we go, that's better. On the back of the gun, you can see that there's like a little square panel that is still silver. There's a little circular-ish sort of panel on the back of this flamethrower, so it will stay silver. Actually, I've got a bit of opacity in my colours right now, in this black. I didn't think it was going to happen, so I might get away with not having to do a second coat, which again is just going to save time. I am going to do some silver weathering, like what's on his head. I have to go around that with a small brush, that's quite tiny. Yeah, so we're still going to do some like silver damage on it, but of course I want the colour to be nice and bold, so that the weathering shows up nicely on it. I'm quite energised and quite enthusiastic about this because I'm fairly confident I'm going to be able to finish all of this bar the base on the show today, and that's what the show is all about. It's all about finishing things and getting through all your, unpainted miniatures. So it's just, yeah, it's nice to be able to get something done on the show. It really is. John says, thank you. AdSense is still at 1,000 subs, but you can have super likes, memberships, and a storefront. Need to still have 3,000 views in a year and 3 public uploads in a 90-day period. Okay, with me on my live stream, the regularity of that is quite easy for me. And the 3,000 views in a year, I think I've achieved that. But it's the 1,000 subscribers for me that is the tough going thing. Although I don't really mind, I do it just as a club to keep people company. If it ever starts generating a little bit of extra cash, then I'm okay with that. That's fine. That will just go in to support the channel, but it doesn't need it to happen. It's just nice if it does, right? And super likes just sound, well, a little bit super. I don't know what they do though. It's all out of my league, of my little show. Nice milestone nonetheless though, sir. Just taking my time here. I've had to slow down a little bit because I'm just working in around some details where I don't want to basically go over the lines. that in here, in between the body of this flamethrower and this grill, there are 2 pipes that run, I would imagine, through, you know, the length of this flamethrower. So, you know, according to my little sort of gospel of continuity or whatever, I should paint those gold. They're so hard to recognise and so difficult to get to that I'll probably end up making everything look a little bit worse for getting gold all over everything else for such little gain. So I'm really not going to worry about it. Now just the top lip of this little socket where this feeding pipe goes into needs to be black because the silver bit just stands out a little bit too much there. There we go. Underneath the back here. Okay, that looks awesome, sauce. Yes, it is a real word. Okay. Well, I'll just leave that there to stand and dry in the 3 seconds it needs. Cogs and skulls. Oh, I hate doing the cogs and skulls. Let's get them done now. So, as you can see on this one here for reference, one side of the skull is black and the other is white, and then the opposite is true with the cog behind it. So, yes, I need to have the right-hand side, sorry, the left-hand side of the skull. I need to paint the whole thing white, don't I? Because it's easier to do it that way. Okay, cool. Let's get a tiny bit of white. It's just easier. Right. For white. I'll use my little micro brush here again, I think. Not going to water this down. I'm just going to keep it as is, I think. Now, this one has a background that I'm sure I should paint silver. I should, and I haven't done that very well. Okay, so paint the one on the hand, paint the background silver. Okay, so I messed that up a little bit. When I was doing the silver on the engine here, basically I haven't gone in close enough to around the outside of the logo. So I need to correct that. It will require a filter. So it's a little bit of extra work, but it shouldn't be too hard to do. So what I'm doing here, as you can see, I'm just painting the whole logo white, because then in a minute, like I've always done in the past, I can just come over and paint with black on the bits that I need. Trying to pick the details out nice and accurately on this logo, and because they're raised up, they're embossed, it's quite easy to do, but because it's easy there's a temptation to kind of just want to fly through it and rush it, but there is no need. Take your time. I'm saying this to myself, not to you guys. Anybody else talk to themselves when they're painting like I do? Like, literally, when you guys are not here, the dialogue is still the same, it's just internal. already dry. Just going over for a second layer just for the sharpness of this white. It's cool.
John says, usually listening to other videos or a podcast. Yeah, fair. Yeah, I talk to myself at times. Painting helps me think. Yeah, it helps me, yeah, single train of thought as I'm going. So what you guys are listening to is literally my internal conversation. Okay, I need a touch of silver. Where is my silver? Here it is. Just a tiny amount. Just need to kind of patch up around what I've done. Where I've done wrong. Here. So all the way up to this logo is silver. And you can see already that that's really bright. So I will need to make a little filter mix. And with all my silvers, you know I like to use the Basilicanum Grey and water. So I'll have to mix that up in a second. My cat hair just flew in from stage right. Because what would the show be without a little bit of cat hair? Only me, says Mike. Hi Mike, thanks for coming along. Hope you're doing well. How's the new little electronic handheld compressor airbrush thing? Is it working well for you? Been having a chat about that lately, haven't we, outside of the show and on Facebook? Some pretty good effects you've got on your Space Marine shoulder pads. You've got like a large Space Marine, haven't you? One of the action figure style dudes. The effects look really good. So mustn't grumble. Okay. I think that's all the missing bit there kind of caught up. Nice. Well, I've got a little bit of silver, I might as well just brighten up these little objects on the front like I was talking about earlier. That's much better. Wonderful. Well, before I can carry on with that icon, I need to make a little mixture of wash for it. John says, how are you liking those new Tyranids that are coming out? I love them. There's a couple that I'm not a massive fan about. So while that, like for example, while the Termagant models look really cool and it is a really good model upgrade sculpt or whatever, I'm in no rush to go and get them. I would like to at some point, but just you know, a couple of months ago I just finished painting up, doing a whole load of like the old style Termagants. So I feel like I'm going to put Termagants on hiatus for a little while until I buy some new ones, see what they're like. I think I might only be interested in doing them if the Hormagaunts match, because previously Hormagaunts Termagants come from the same box, you just kind of kit them up with different arms. So I'd like them to be the same really. But so far there's been no sort of display of there being Hormagaunts in the same thing. we'll see, I suppose. The really big giant thing, the crabby thing that's kind of walking a big... I'm doing all these hand gestures, but you know what I'm talking about, with the huge kind of insect abdomen that's pumping out all the gases or whatever. That looks really cool. I think the box art doesn't do it well enough. I don't like the smoke effects coming out the top, so I would probably do away with that and just, you know, try and sculpt that in to make it look like it doesn't have it. Yeah, that looks really cool. Some of the newer units and things are really cool. Don't like the new Death Leaper. A skirt on the Tyranid. I can see what they were trying to do. It's not for me, so yeah, get rid of that nonsense. Otherwise, it's quite a nice model. A tentacle on the back of the head? Necessary? A friend of mine said, well, that's where you want a tentacle, isn't it? I'll leave that for you to decide. Mike says, it's doing okay. It's more an airbrush maintenance thing. I think paint dries a bit quick in this heat, clogging the nozzle. Yeah, it probably does. Yeah. You can get things to go mix into your paints. For example, if I show you here, flow improver. That you mix that directly in, 1 drop to whatever ratio you want. Obviously, it will dilute your paint, so be aware of that. Maybe add 1 to 5. 1 drop of that to 5 drops of paint, perhaps. It's all about working it out. And there's also retarded medium. This actually slows down the drying effect of paints. This particular one here isn't for airbrushes. This one's for brushing, and a tiny amount goes a long way. I worked it out the hard way. A good paintbrush load of this in some paint will prevent your miniature from drying quickly at all, maybe. So there are things that you can add in it. As far as I'm aware, you can get retarded medium for airbrushes. I think I just picked up the wrong one. I use that sparingly, but it does have its place, especially in this heat, right? So yeah, of course you can add other mediums and just water to it all as well, just to kind of loosen it down, or just thinner, which is obviously... Things, man. Things you can add to your paint. I noticed I had just a little graphic glitch on my monitor. Hopefully it's not affecting your viewing pleasure. Right. I would like a siliconum grey. Here we go. Give that a bit of a shake. Get that on the Waz. Get your Waz on. I won't say that again, I'm so sorry. I don't need a lot of this, I just need a little bit. Where am I going to mix it to? I've got so many things on the go. Oh my god. Decision paralysis. I normally use a little dropper so that I can get a precise 50-50 ratio. I'm not doing that now because it's just a tiny little bit of catching up. I just need to stain it and make it look the same. So I'm just going for consistency and eyeballing it. This could be a big mistake. Waz. I think we started something with the whole Waz-it movement. Okay. Load this mixture up. Here we go. All it needs to do is just dull that effect down. I'm also using it to get into the cogs on that icon. So when I come in with the white in a minute, it will really help to find the edges. It will run quite neatly into all the little creases in there as well. Kind of just picking out the shapes and some rivets and some circular bits in there. But being a contrast paint, even though it is diluted down, it will create a nice filter over the whole colour. What I'm looking for is that it doesn't start pooling in one place, and if it does, getting it now with a dry brush, just kind of wicking it up. It's really important to get it done early, because if you start brushing around with a contrast paint, it starts creating a homogeneous skin
and you will end up ruining the effect entirely, but I seem to have got that mix nigh perfect. So happy with that. Well done me. Right, back to the white. That's a mistake that I have corrected. Excellent. I had to move my WAS off my workbench. This thing shakes the entire table. Yeah, but you've got the really nice, expensive Vortex, actual proper Vortex mixer. Good for you. I've just got a 30 quid, like, nail varnish shaking thing. So, yeah, you've got a much better quality one than I have. I couldn't justify the near £100 it was going to cost me. Which I think is about $120, $130, I think. Or is it the other way? Cheaper in dollars? No. The pound has fallen. I will put a tiny little bit of black ink or washing around this whole thing. Again, not to create any sort of like weathering or grime effects around it, but just to help really define those edges of the white. It's this side of the cog that is white, and this side of the skull that is white. Making sure that they look nice. That's cool. Back to this one. Here we go. I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this white paint because it's kind of drying quite quickly. Getting a bit claggy. Yes, claggy. You heard me. Jeff says, I got a bench saw that makes everything go for a walk. Yeah, you do. John says, I didn't believe they worked that well until I picked one up. Oh, well. Oh, you mean the Vortex mixer? Right, we're talking about the workbench saw. No, the one that I got is more than good enough. I have a penchant for wanting to pick up expensive things, so I'm sure in the future I will upgrade to a proper Vortex mixer. But if the one that I've got does well enough, imagine what one that's probably made will do for me. Swapping out brushes because I'm going in a little bit heavy. I think I'm rushing. Just need to pack that in. Yeah, I think that paint is kind of a little bit too watery and is running between some of the cogs, taking away that definition I've just tried to get. So I might just get a grubby brush. See if I could just get wet bristles in there. Just clear that out a little bit, maybe. Or I might have to put some more stain in there in a minute to, again, redefine them. Okay. Okay. Icon. These are the harder, boring bits to do. So, some things I've still yet to do. I have still, obviously, to finish off these skull motifs. I have got to do some weathering on the black part of this flamethrower, and I'm going to just do some, bright silver parts on the flamethrower front bit too. I am going to probably add a little bit of stain, sepia stain, to all of these gold works, just to kind of give them a little bit of depth, and then I'm just going to highlight them a little bit with some brass or lighter gold, just to kind of give them, just something so they're not just a flat colour. I've then got to do the faceplate, and
maybe some soot effects. A layer of varnish when done. That's what I've got to do. But it's still a little tricky route to get there, and it has taken me nearly an hour to get this done. Just this little bit so far. So, a little bit of water to this white paint. Make that animated a little bit. Here we go. I'm just going to go over for a quick over the top layer, just to bring in a little bit of intensity to this white. It's a little bit behind because of the mistake that I had to cover up. Not a big deal. Try and make sure that I brush out far enough to get to the ends of the cog teeth. Otherwise they look like malformed, or they got rounded edges and it looks a little bit rubbish. So, but you got to take your time, because you get right to the edge of it, you could end up drawing the white colour over all the stuff in the background, and that would look equally rubbish. But I think I just hit the sweet spot right there. It's working well for me today, he says. Excellent. This all needs to dry for a minute, I think. I'll come back to it after an intermission, which we should probably have now. So, yeah. How are all your projects going on this evening? Are you working on something today? Is it going well? Kez, you haven't actually said what you're doing today. I assume you're working on more of your ultimate scenery solutions. I think that's a lot. You got like 30 square feet, 1 foot by 1 foot tiles, if not more, I think. Yay! I mean, it looks amazing, the pictures you put up on Facebook, and I hope it goes really well for you. But it's a lot to get through. But kudos for the effort. Even the water has gone warm in the glass then. That's how hot it is in here today. The fan is working really well, but apparently that isn't bothering you guys today, so that can stay there for future episodes. Rightio. Just got to pick my finger up a little bit, haven't I? What time are we at? We are nearly at 8 o'clock. So, we will take a quick break, just for 10 minutes. And in the meantime, whatever it is that you're going to go and do, go and change your paint water. Don't leave it dirty. See you in a bit. Bye-bye. welcome back. Took the opportunity to go downstairs, see my partner, get some ice in my water, which is already almost completely melted. That's how warm it is. But it is nice to have an ice cold drink. It yeah, I would like to have an alcohol drink, but I'm actually going easy on the alcohol lately. Not because I drink an awful lot of it, just because I'm not exercising as much as I used to, and getting older, and it doesn't go away unless you do something about it, right? So just being careful about what I put in my mouth in terms of food and drink, of course. It's a family show. So yeah, you guys feel free to have yourself a beer or whatever cheeky little beverage you want. But right now, I'm just going to stick with either a cup of tea or a glass of water. So cheers. Here's a responsible drink. Just as we went to break, I realised that Kez wrote, just finished a couple more smaller sections and painting my second train in between. Yeah, nice to have a side project to kind of, alternate between the two. Keeps the enthusiasm going, doesn't it? Excuse me, Jeff says, I'm sat here doing rough sketches for a future World War I trench system build. Looking forward to this one, as it's a late war trench running through ruined buildings. So many ideas. That's going to be incredible. I've never heard of someone doing something so specific with their trenches. That'd be really interesting. When you said future World War One, I thought you meant like a future-inspired sci-fi sort of World War One. But actually, I think that's kind of running through the ruined buildings idea might be even more interesting. So yeah, be looking forward to seeing some pictures on that. So share your ideas with us. That'd be great. I've just accidentally clicked on a video on YouTube. The reason I'm on YouTube on my phone over here is because John has just put up on his page for Out of This World Models and Minis. He's uploaded a 500 subscriber special, which is actually like a little product reveal on Dirty Down's Yellow Rust products. Dirty Down makes some really top class weathering products that I would get if it wasn't for the fact that I've got a drawer full of AK interactive stuff. If you want rust in a bottle that's immediate with zero skill, then this is definitely the product for you, and I will be watching that video, John, straight after tonight's show. Again, a mighty congratulations to you for 500 subscribers. I really am struggling with my words today. It is the heat and me being a bit stupid. Anyway, welcome back. If you really do like what we do here at Easy 8, please do consider subscribing, because it goes a long way. Thanks for the plug, says John. Absolutely more than welcome. It's exactly what this show is for. It's for providing you with a place, yes, you, to come along and paint your models, so you don't have to have big hordes and mountains of collected, unpainted models on sprues, or just kind of built but no paint on the tool. The idea is to get through them, have a little bit of company doing it, knowing all the while that live someone is painting at the same time, or maybe watch it retrospectively because you like the company, knowing that someone is also struggling to get all their stuff done too. It's the whole point of it. But it's also to share the wealth of experience, service providers, businesses, people that might do like a painting service, or they might like build terrain like my dad does. Hi Dad. Whatever it might be, because I think that sort of stuff should be widely accessible to everybody. So that's kind of what the show's about. I don't think I'll ever ask for money for advertising. I don't think that's what this show really should be, even though the idea of having lots of money coming in is tempting. I think I should try to stay above that. I think so. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Anyway, subscribe, and please push the thumbs up button just down there, because it will make this video go a little bit further. That'll be really helpful. Anyway, enough of subscribing nonsense. Let's go back to the workbench. Here we are. So, yes, I've just started painting the black onto the cogs down here. It's warm. It's just got to try and calm down a little bit, because this one does require a little bit of concentration and a slightly steady hand, because the halfway doesn't go between the teeth. It's got a central tooth up and a central tooth down. I wonder if you can see it if I bring it in close enough. Is it going to go in focus? So actually half of the tooth is black and half of it's white. If it was like a gap and the tooth being either side, one painted white, one painted black, it would be easier. But oh no. Thanks Mr. Sculptor for making my life difficult. But it has slowed me down a little bit and made me kind of think about where the paint's going, which is good. I just really like this done today.
Because it was kind of the promise, wasn't it? Anyway, that's half of that cog done. So now, gonna go to half the skull. Get some water in that paint. Might even get a little bit of retardant medium out of it because it's very warm and everything's drying really fast, but I need a bit of flowability to my paint. Too thick, it just snags and doesn't move anywhere. This is my concentration voice, by the way. Yeah, that's looking alright. It will need a bit more attention in a minute, but I've got the first little bit done. Clean the brush out, stop that paint from being crappy. Bit of water to the paint. Loosen it up a little bit. And now for this side. So, this side of the cog goes black. I do have to say it out loud, otherwise I will get it wrong. That's gone on much thinner. That's going to definitely require a second layer, but that's fine. It means it's going on much easier. I'm in shot because I often drift out of the shot there. Managed to get that silver colour almost spot on to the surrounding area. Gone a little bit too far with that tooth there, so I have to recover that in a minute with a bit of white. Okay, now the other side of the skull. I could put a tiny bit of black stain across the whole motif, and it would just help me see the defining features of the skull, because it's all kind of bleeding away into itself. It can be quite hard to see where the edge of the skull is. When you're trying to paint the cog around the skull, it can be quite difficult to see. But I'll frankly only do that as a little backup in a minute if I'm struggling to fit all of this stuff into one evening. Getting a bit of a shaky hand. Keep it calm, keep it cool. Brace my hand there against the table. That's a bit better. Okay, that could be better, but It's not all that bad. Right, while it's fresh in my mind, I'm going to quickly get some sepia to stain that gold up. I was just looking at it thinking, oh yeah, that needs to be done. So I'll get some of this. I'll just get my zero brush. A little bit of sepia. Don't have to go crazy with this. Again, it's just to add a little bit of depth to the colours. Sepia is a really nice colour for affecting gold. Another little cat hair flowing in there. Let's just enhance those colours a little bit, just broaden them out. They were quite flat surfaces, those little pipes, so the sepia doesn't really show up that much. Where it might show up is on the top one here, because this one's got like lots of segments, so it will hopefully run into all those little grooves. Just help define that colour a little bit more. Nice. Looking good. Well, quite a bit of gold actually on the front of that flamethrower. I'll have to come in with some silver in a minute and do some repair work on it. Okay. Oh, there we go. That was quite quick. Lovely. That will now dry and I'll come back in and highlight that up in a little bit. Having a problem sharing on an Easy 8 page. I mean, on Facebook, weird. Facebook often changes things in the background, but people have been posting photos up there. See if you can make a comment. See if you can put some pictures up. John says Tamiya's panel line accents might be good for those AdMech logos. Yeah, I've heard that actually Tamiya do make a lot of really nice products like that, to be fair. What I was probably just going to do was just use the new Nuln oil. I need to stop calling it the new Nuln. It's the only Nuln now. But I got the new Nuln. Here it is. It's just got a better formula, I suppose. If I just get a little brush load, and if I just drop it on like that, it actually adds a little something to the white. I quite like that, to be fair. Stops the white just from being so flat. Oh, have I just found a new thing? My god, I think I have. Okay. Well, I like that. Look at Nolan saving the day. What? Who would have thunk it? All those years of hating Nolan. Live on the show as well. Well. There we go. It's kind of done the job. We'll see what happens. See if it stays like that. You can get back up there, Nolan. Thank you very much. Right. Let's talk about the next stage. Flamethrower. Yes, I need to do some silver weathering up here. So I will get some silver. Here it is. I'll put a drop in the palette there. And I will now get a sponge, which is stuck conveniently to that. Wonderful. I will get my Tac-Axe clamps. You're welcome. And I think the sponge is still good to use. So, yeah. tiny drop of water. And it helps it all sort of flow. And I want to get this strictly really onto this black area here. I think it's probably a bit too wet, a bit too much water in that sponge. Okay, add a bit more silver paint. Maybe this piece of sponge isn't all that good. Okay, I will get another piece. Having picked up the new formula, says John, have a few bottles of the old, both gloss and matte. Yeah, I've never used the gloss one. Some people really like it, don't they? Yeah, I struggled with the old formula, if I'm being honest. I don't know what it was about it. It just didn't do anything that I needed it to. Sludge washing was good, but I tried to move away from sludge washing because even though sludge washes have their place, I was relying on them too heavily. By kind of saying goodbye to that as a technique, I was able to kind of force myself into improving my other techniques, I suppose. Too heavy in there. Let's see if I can clean that up. Okay. Trying to not get any on that kind of blue. I don't really want any chipped weathering effects really to go on that. Just trying to take my time, working my way around on that black area. Using the other one as a guide to see how much sort of extent I need to go. More paint. Okay, I think the rest I might be able to do with brush. So, a little bit of edge painting, I suppose. Just where I wasn't able to get the sponge in so close. Just enhance some of the marks that the sponge has left. And again, like all my previous weathering, just trying to keep that random and natural. You can kind of try and get the silver paint on some of the details that might be in there, just sort of bring those up. Bit too much water there. Too much paint. Okay, that's that done. I'm just going to get my little army painter brush here because it's got a flatter tip. I think that'll come in really handy for a little bit of weathering, just a tiny, tiny amount on the front part of this flamethrower here. I don't want a lot of paint on the bristles, but I do want it evenly distributed across the paintbrush. So just making sure that I get a nice spread there. Okay, that's pretty good. What I want to do is just enhance the silver on this area. That's going really well. I just wanted to make it stand out a little bit from the rest of the mini. Not really a fan of dry brushing anymore, but again, it has its place. Just where I said I got that gold on the front of the flamethrower, I've actually got quite a bit of gold there, so I'm just gonna get some of this silver and just try and disguise it as much as I possibly can. Like that. There we go. All of these vents, I'm thinking about just dropping a little bit of basilicanum grey in there. That, of course, is a contrast paint, so it should lend a nice filter to each of those little bits. Some more comments going in. Jeff, I just posted another pic with no issues. Maybe all the candles and chanting helped. Okay, just gonna sacrifice a goat, see if that works. Yep, no goat. I'm sacrificing things on my show, guys. Okay. Gentle, gentle. What time are we at? 1:30. And the reason I'm doing this is because there is a little bit of silver in each of these. And while I don't really mind that, I'm just trying to enhance the sort of depth that is being sort of shown in there. I don't really mind if the silver still shows through, but this should help just kind of create a little bit more, you know, these are holes that kind of go into somewhere. Like that. That's pretty cool. I did this on the machine gun version as well. It has fewer of them. Okay, that's cool. Oh, just the last few things to do now, but I'm just aware of the time. Just a little bit now before the end of the show. I still need to do the faceplate on them, which is quite exciting, and left it till last quite deliberately. Just want to make sure that all the gold on here is highlighted up nicely. So I'm going to use a tiny amount of polished gold, which is a much brighter gold. But in the same way that I just did the silver, I'm going to use this just to sort of highlight the edges of it, create some, you know, some depth. This is a much weaker pigment than the other gold. I'm just going to make sure that I get a good amount of it on the bristles before I can start dry brushing, you know what I mean. Okay. I'm not actually happy with the that pipe on the top, but that's something I can come back in and change later on when I feel like I've, you know, what colour it is that I want to do it. Maybe I just need to do it again and, I don't know, be better? Who knows? I quite like the idea of making it gold because it sort of reflects the silver, sorry, the golden ammo belt going into the gun, but you know, it's just not working. It might be because it's going against black and the cooler colour blue there. Might be because it looks like it has a little bit of the orange showing through from underneath. I don't really know. It doesn't really sit well with me. Any suggestions, of course, I am all ears. Or eyes if you're writing them in. Does it look good? Do you like the gold pipe going into the top there? What do you guys think? Whatevs. That's just bringing a nice little bit of shine to those pipes. That's quite nice. I like that. Okay. Looks good, but I love heavy weathering, so yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Oh, let's just get a bit more water. That's warm again. Right. It is looking cool. It is time to move to the faceplate. Here we go. So, I believe last time I used Scorpion Green, or Scorpina Green. It's a really, really good shake. You know what time it is? The Wazomatic time. There we go. Right, let's get some paint in there. Gonna want a little bit of flow improvement there, I think. So I'm just gonna get a little drop. Just a little drop. There we go. That'll help dilute it down, like water would as well. Just mix that in. And I'm going to go for pretty much the same effect. I haven't really kind of got good at this bit yet. So rather than trying to make it look slightly different, I'm just going to go for a direct copy. What I thought might be good on this version is where I've got the crosshair on here. If you can see, that's a bit shiny. See the crosshair I've got there? I was going to make it look like it was tracking somewhere else. So I was going to do the crosshair kind of down to the left or something, just to make it look like there's something inside that's just kind of moving around, like an Etch-a-Sketch, I suppose. But I'm not that good at it yet. So I just need a bit of practice. Right, mixed in a tiny bit of water, some flow improver into that colour. I've gone for a really fine point on my brush. Now I want a horizontal line and a vertical line. Then I'm going to do dashes out and a little box in the middle, or a sort of a box. More lines creating a box than anything. So here we go. I'll probably do it using my little painting handle, but whatever. That is all over the place. So let's start again. Can I start again? Will it let me? Doesn't want to let me. Alright, let's get a bit of cleaner. Use that to kind of clean the area that I was just working on. Okay, that's better. Let's try again. This time I'll get my painting handle, I think. Quarter two. Pressure's on, Dan. It won't fit in my painting handle. How upsetting is that? Ah, okay. Well. It's really distressing. Confidence. 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 Confidence gives you straight lines. Ooh, okay. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quarter it. Rather than doing one straight line, I'm going to work for the middle and out. Going to just help define that line one more time. There, that's a much better line. You can do it, you can do it, come on. Be brave. Oh, got the sweats, got the sweats. Okay, we'll need defining again in a second, but that's okay. Paint's drying in the palette. Getting somewhere. Okay, I just need a bit of elbow space here is what I need. Oh, bashed the microphone in my head. It let me post a pic. Yeah. Glad to hear it. Okay, so want two lines. One line. It's looking good though. I'm holding it at a slight angle so the reflection doesn't show and you can see it. But that is neater than this one. Okay. I'm happy with that. It's good. That paint is just drying so fast. It's unbelievable. I'm actually going to drop another bit of flow improver in there. There we go. Don't want to put paint retarder in there. Change the consistency a little bit. I don't really want it to do that. Just need it to stay fluid enough that I can move it. It's just this little bit to finish, and we ain't going nowhere until I'm done. I made that promise to you guys at the beginning. This is what I'm painting. This is what I'm doing, and I'm finishing it on the show. Okay. It's a bit more translucent, but it'll do. That's actually harder. Oh my goodness. This is so difficult. In with some paint. Mix it in with what's already in there.
Flow Improver and Paint Retarder probably were a good mix, but I'm just being stubborn and I'm not using that Paint Retarder. Oh dear, should have gone with the retarder. Oh, I ended up with a little weird spot there. It's kind of ruined that a little bit. Never mind. It's alright, I can cover it later. As you probably guessed, we are getting close to the end of the show. Literally just trying to paint this little crosshair on here. And then I can carry on with my life. You guys can carry on with yours, but you can't go anywhere until I'm done. We're in this together. This has not been my best set of lines. Although, getting good now. There we go. 2 more lines. Just found myself holding my breath while you painted that line. Yeah. Not my best lines, but it doesn't look bad. Not my best. And in some ways that one was better. But the paint was just being really troublesome. I might just see if I can try and neaten up the edge of that bottom line, because that's kind of bothering me a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go back to some dark green just before the show ends here. A little paint cap in there. Okay. We'll just add 1 drop of dark green and 1 drop of sick green, because it was a 50-50 mix that I was doing last time. Just like that. And we'll just mix those together. Well, that's better. Well, there we go. Finished the model. Thanks for the 3-foot rule. It's good to remember. 3-foot rule, remember. 3-foot rule? 3-foot rule. 3-foot rule? Are you talking about
sights, right? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm so sorry. 3 foot. Oh, I can do that better. But that's something for going into next week. So just like I did earlier this week, I'll do a little video on Facebook where I'm just going to do the base, get that finished, and I might try and neaten up the screen there, but otherwise it's done. And when he is done, I'm going to put up pictures all over Facebook and Instagram of the two side by side so that you can see them. I would love to hear your thoughts on my little miniature that I painted, the scheme that I have done and the way that I've got there. Does this look good from 3 feet away? Right. Yeah, you're correct. I just did it better than the first go in an attempt to try and improve it. I've not done it so well. However, the intensity of the colour, that's really good. As on this one, it's not as strong. I prefer the shininess on this one. This one's done with a gloss, and it's too shiny. Screens aren't shiny. They're just a little bit more reflective than the other surfaces around. So this one here is a satin gloss, and it works much better. But yes, we are done. Symbols on the back with all the gold pipes. Symbol on the arm. Gold pipes. The flamethrower is all done. The screen is done. Just checking to make sure that I haven't got anything else. Oh, soot effects. Yeah, I haven't done any soot effects, but I'm okay with it. I don't need to do soot effects. It was just if I had time, I was going to do something with it. John says it looks great. Thank you very much. Oh my gosh, the sweat is literally... I am soaked in my sweat. That is an inglorious thing to say, but it is true. Anyway, let's come away from here, right? Goodness me, it is very, very warm. Let's just have a quick drink. I completed the model. Yeah. I know I still got to do his base, but like I say, I will do that during the week. I wasn't going to do anything with him this week, having done so much of him over the last few. You're probably getting a bit bored of it, but we'll move on to something next week. I literally, behind me, you can't see it, I've got a whole table full of little allied tanks, 15mm, that were, kindly given to me by Stafford. We together play lots of water tankers, so we use 50mm tanks, and he's just been picking up tanks from everywhere, box sets and all sorts, but he rarely, if ever, plays allies. That's more my sort of thing. I like the British tanks, I like the American tanks, so he gave them all to me. You never ever play with anything more than just a few tanks each. That can go on for some time, especially when you're playing against the German tanks, because they're so much bigger and harder. But it's nice to have them and to kind of, do lots of things with them. And we want to play, various other games as well, where it might be nice to have lots of other tanks. But I've got about 10 tanks that all need staining up with, like I've done previously. I like put not Agri Attaché, but Seraphim sepia on them, onto the Allied olive green, and it looks lovely, and a quick dry brush, and they all come out really, really nice. It's a lot of tank tracks to paint up, and that might be something that I start next week, but I just kind of want them to look a little bit nicer on the table. So yeah, having all their features defined by a little bit of staining, a little bit of dry brushing, will be very quick and easy, and it'll be something nice and different to do, because I've been doing a lot of 40k recently. Anyway, that's enough this week, right? Because it's now 9 o'clock. I tried it at my desk the other day, and I've got loads of pipettes in the way, and I can't read the clock. There we go. It's now 9 o'clock on the dot. Bit of quiet one in the live chat, but that's fine. Thanks very much for coming along and keeping me company. You can always watch this retrospectively, and we get loads of views afterwards, like loads and loads of views. Views are coming in from all over the world. Actually, I've got a massive percentage of viewers from outside the UK, and that's glorious. That means we're reaching all the corners of the globe. So thank you very much for your continued support and subscribing. Of course, it is the thumbs up now that we want to be really focusing on as well, just to make sure that these videos get spread out to other people, and they might want to subscribe themselves, and so the chain accelerates and continues. So please, if you haven't already, do consider subscribing to the show, because it really does make my day. And I see every single one, and I feel the effects of every single one at the moment. So I say at the moment, like I'm thinking into the future where I'm going to have 400,000 subscribers. That'll be the day, right? Jeff saying, damn nice. Thank you very much. I'm really proud of them. They are coming on really well. I've just realised it matches the text here. Look, there we go.
You can have one either side. You can have one over here. I can't get in there. Stop it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's show. Please do share, like, subscribe, and hit the thumbs up button because it really does help me out. That's enough from me this week. So I will see you next week. Until then, stay safe, be kind, and keep on painting. And I'll see you soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye. I nearly didn't know what button to push there. It's so hot, I don't even know my name anymore. Milk was a bad choice.